Alright, what's going on, boys? Market opens here in about 30 seconds. Daily bias, though, we're within this daily fair value gap on NQ. So we're at all-time highs. What I want to see after rebalancing to a daily fair value gap is just bullish continuations back to the all-time highs. And even if I wanted to be short biased, there's nothing to even target for shorts. Equilibrium of the range is actually a little bit higher up here, but there's nothing below other than this daily gap. So what do we do here? All we do is just wait for reactions to the upside, displacement back higher that we can execute on towards where this all-time high is. And that's really as simple as it gets. That's the only thing that we can really target today. There's no intermediate swing highs in this range that are even worth targeting either. So it's kind of like we either expand higher back to the upside, which is about 300 points, or we don't take a trade today. So that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm looking for. Obviously, market has just opened here and we're selling off. So not really what I want to see in terms of being able to take a trade. But yeah, that's the bias. We'll see what happens. But should be a pretty low cortisol morning, knowing exactly what I want to see and just waiting for that to happen if it does happen. So
Order filled.
all right, I'm in there on that 15-minute candle close. Pretty much looking for all-time highs. Yeah, it's very far away, 193 points, but my stop is also 140 points. And I have a decent break-even point. So really, really like that 15-minute candle close. First 15-minute candle of market open.
Order filled.
All right, as you saw by that live recording, got stopped out here on this trade. Had to take a little bit of a second to just kind of get my mind straight. Went outside, got some sun, made my morning coffee. Didn't want to make an emotional recap. But as far as I can tell, taking a step back from this trade, I don't really regret much about it. I was aggressive, long biased towards all-time highs. I already told you on my daily bias coming into the morning, and I really liked this 15-minute candle. This is a 140 point 15-minute candle with clear rejection from the lows out of this 15-minute gap and a very strong candle close higher. The only negative part about it is there were, and maybe this is something I can learn to improve on in the future, maybe, two small 1 hour bearish gaps. So there's two small 1 hour bearish gaps within the range, and I kind of disregarded them because of this displacement and because of all-time highs. In my mind, with this displacement, which tells me that we want to go higher and continue the trend of attacking and putting in new all-time highs when the market opens, which we've done every single day pretty much for the past couple weeks. This kind of displacement told me personally that that's what we were going to continue to do, and so it didn't really matter that these 1 hour gaps were here in my eyes. And I expected, the next 15-minute candle after this displacement to sort of follow through. And then if it just follows through a little bit after the next 15-minute candle closes, that would be the hourly candle close. Um, and it would have closed through these gaps. Like, that's a little bit of projection on my part. So maybe in the future, when we're kind of far away from the drawn liquidity, because we're still at this point in time, we're still 196 points away. But then again, the take profit was 196 points, and my stop loss was 140 points. It was all the way down below this 15-minute candle. And you can see the next 15-minute candle opens up and completely erases that move. So maybe when we're in a daily gap, want to see us invalidate everything bearish on that hourly time frame. Because the whole premise of the way that I trade is the drawn liquidity confirmed? When you're looking at the 15-minute chart, it looks very good. It looks very, very good. Closing above all these internal highs. But the thing is, you got to have the mindset of, is there anything stopping this trade? And when you zoom out to the higher time frames, which has the higher priority, obviously, over the lower time frames, yeah, there's bearish gaps which could potentially stop this trade, which ended up stopping the trade and reversing and hitting my stop loss. Like I said, these were small. It's not like this was one. If this was one big hourly gap, obviously I wouldn't have taken this trade, and I would have wanted to see us come up and close through it. And that hourly gap would have been my condition. But because they were two relatively small gaps, I was a bit more aggressive. And like I said, a bit more aggressive as well because it is all-time highs. And that's the way we've been moving for the past. Holy. There was literally almost a wreck in my neighborhood. I don't know if y'all heard that honking. But I forgot what I was saying, dude. Yeah, that's the way we had been moving for the whole past couple weeks in these all-time high conditions, is making that initial move higher and slowly grinding higher towards all-time highs. And this was pretty much the exact same similar trade as the winning trade from last week. And it just didn't play out. So sometimes you lose. So as far as I can tell, I'm going to put this in my statistical loss category. Are there things that I can take note of for the future? Yeah, of course. Of course. What I just said with these smaller hourly gaps. And it's like, if I just wait for the next 15-minute candle to close, which would be that hourly candle close. If the hourly candle closes up here through these bearish gaps, incredibly strong bullish hourly candle close, it's like, okay, that would 100% solidify the drawn liquidity towards the all-time highs. So there was just a little thing that hindered this trade, which was that hourly time frame and these bearish gaps. Had these not been here, then I would have said, hell yeah, the drawn liquidity is confirmed 100% in my eyes. But because of the higher time frames, and that's a little bit on me, like I said, knowing they're there and kind of disregarding them because of being at all-time highs and because of how strong this initial move up was. And that just, I don't want to say I was quote unquote too zoomed in because I was on the 15-minute chart, but it's like when you come into the market with these higher time frame conditions, let's say coming into the market, I chose to respect these bearish gaps on the 1 hour time frame. Then I have them marked out as my conditions. I only want to see longs today because we're within a daily gap, and that's really the only target for the day. Then I'm just camped out on the 1 hour time frame waiting for these gaps to get run through. And then once they get run through, then I can zoom in and look for an entry. And that's how I usually treat the 1 minute time frames. I'm usually camped out on the 5 and the 15-minute because those are usually guiding me. Today was just a unique scenario where, okay, the conditions were on the hourly time frame, and we're reacting out of a daily gap, so it's just a little bit of a higher time frame order. I don't know if that makes sense to you as the viewer, but it makes sense to me, and that's how I'm viewing this trade and this loss and what I could have done to improve, because there's always room for improvement. Even though I feel like I'm going to put this down in the statistical category for myself, there's still things to take away and things to improve on. In the future, we're like, okay, everything looks very good, but in the future, maybe I want to wait a little bit longer for this 1 hour gap to actually get run through. And then at that point, it's like, okay, even if I have to take a trade a little bit higher into the range, I can just take a different kind of trade. Maybe it's not based off a 5 or a 15-minute candle close. Maybe the draw on liquidity is confirmed and it's a typical, okay, at this point, I need to just wait for a retrace and then a flip, because the draw on liquidity is confirmed. I'm just waiting for a retrace to get in. So it's just a different kind of entry that I would be waiting for at that point, which is the typical retrace, flip, textbook entry. So there's a lot of things coming into it. I'm just going to try to keep a positive mindset and also not worry about the P&L. Like, yes, the title of this video is going to be how I lost $851. That's how you gain engagement and get people to click on this video. But in all reality, like, I have a risk management plan and I'm following that risk management plan right now. I talked about this in the previous market recaps. Gotten 4 straight payouts on this 150K account. I still have a good buffer built up. Had a $2,700 buffer built up. Had been risking 1/4 of the drawdown to get those payouts. And now, like I'm just gonna reiterate this. I'm at the point where if I get my 5th payout, then I'll get moved to live, and that'll be scaling up for me, because it's moving from this one singular 50K account, and I will get more capital to risk on trades. If not, if I blow this account, then I will just go to 3 copy traded express funded accounts and scale up that way. So I'm scaling up either way. Obviously, would love to get the payout, but I'm in a leveraged spot where I can risk a little bit heavier on this account because I've already made so much money from this one singular account, and the return on investment is over $5,000. So I hope that makes sense. That's why I'm risking a little bit heavier. That's why this loss was a little bit heavier, because, okay, my account balance is $2,700. 1/3 of that is $900 per trade. So that's about how much I lost. I risked on this trade, lost $850. And so it's like, okay, I'm down 1R in the week. I've been down 1R in the week so many times. So many times. I've just taken a losing trade. Okay, bet. Winners eat losers, right? There's going to be so much more opportunity in the future. That might happen this week. If not, it's going to happen next week. So I know that, and I know on a long enough time horizon, my strategy is proven to be profitable. I have the back-tested results. I have the live-tested results. I have this proof of concept of success on this YouTube channel. I have my trading journal. I have all those things that tell me, okay, as long as I keep my head on straight, I always say this, as long as you keep your head on straight and you stay in the game and you don't blow up and you take your loss for the day and lock yourself out, that is the most important thing, because losses are going to occur. It's inevitable. In trading, losses are inevitable. It's part of the game, but you have to stay in the game, accept your loss, and move on to the next day. Because if tomorrow I come back and I take a winning trade, risking $900, the same amount, according to my risk plan, that 1-to-1 RR trade, if it's just a 1-to-1, a $900 trade is going to eat this loss. And typically, I'm trading a 1.2 to 1.5 risk to reward. So winners eat losers, okay? I'm going to get fixated on the P&L, even though P&L-wise, it is a little bit of a bigger loss than I'm used to. But at the end of the day, these are prop firms. This is fake money until you withdraw it to your bank account. Until that transfer hits your bank account, this is fake money. And that's the kind of mindset you have to have, which is great because we can leverage this tool that prop firms are if you're disciplined And if you know what you're doing, if you have the experience, if you understand on a long enough time horizon, the probabilities will play out in your favor. You can leverage prop firms. And you can leverage the fact that, okay, I didn't have to lose $800 of my own personal capital. That's the beauty of props. So that was a little bit of a yap, a little bit of a rant, but it's good to go through when you take a loss. It's good to take a step back like I did and run through all these thoughts that I have in regards to this losing trade so that I can actually learn and journal from it and move on and use it to improve me in the future. This is where the money is made. The money is not made on days where you take winning trades. It's so easy to take a winning trade and feel good about yourself. The money is made whenever you take a losing trade. Maybe you make a mistake. The money is made by following your risk parameters when you lose. Following my rules today on a losing day is what's going to propel me in the future to be able to take a payout from this account. That's what's propelled me to take 4 straight payouts after losing for 2 straight years, is being able to take a loss. So honestly, days like today are more important. Like I said, they're, in my eyes, they're more important than taking a winning trade, than winning days. Because it's so easy to go on tilt on days like today. Um, and I didn't lock myself out. And that's my mindset going forward. Just gonna stay positive. Like I said, it would be very hard for me to lose 3 statistical trades in a row. Now this is one, right? Be very, very hard for me. And if I lose 3 statistical trades in a row, then so be it. Then so be it. I'll take my losses and I'll go and I'll scale up again, knowing that the probabilities are still in my favor. Um, so as long as I stick to my rules, I know there's nothing to worry about. And yeah, man. So that's the market recap, trade recap. That's where my mindset is at. My mindset is at moving forward into the week. Like I said, I really liked that 15-minute candle close, and had these bearish 1 hour gaps not been here, there would have been absolutely nothing to regret about this trade. But the only thing to take away from this trade is that yes, there were still 2 smaller bearish 1 hour gaps that I kind of disregarded, and that's probably why it ended up not playing out for me. You can see though, we did come down and tap equilibrium of the range. So it makes sense for this little bit of a deeper retrace, but like I said, I play off of drawn liquidity and displacement. So I liked this. I loved this 15-minute candle. So those are all my thoughts. Let me know if you took a trade or not today. And yeah, man, this is where the money is made on losing days. Remember that. And that's all I got. So I appreciate you watching. Code FST if you want to support me on all your favorite prop firms: Alpha Futures, Lucid, Tradeify, and Apex Trading. The links for that will be in the description below, or you can just use code FST. I would greatly appreciate it if you want to join the free Discord, where I post my bias every single morning, trying to build a good, strong, well-knit trading community. Over there, it'll be the first link in the description as well. Other than that, that's all I got. Appreciate you watching, man, and I will see y'all tomorrow in tomorrow's market recap. Peace.